The engine's been off for 20 minutes, but Diane still can't make her hand reach for the door. She sits in the dark with the key in her palm. It's a small brass thing worn smooth at the edges, and she just turns it over and over and over like a worry stone you can't put down. Third floor, second window from the left, the warm one, that one's Erin's. Her daughter's up there right now making dinner for two in a kitchen Diane used to have a key to. Well, still has a key to, I guess, for one more night. This morning, in the gentlest voice possible, Erin, her daughter, asked for the key back. Something drops in Diane's chest like she had missed a step in the dark. I mean, she tells herself, it's fine, it's just a key. It was a spare for emergencies only. That's ever all this was. Her girl is just building a life the way kids are supposed to. She's tired, she's busy, and well, she's accommodating her new partner. But underneath all the things Diane is telling herself sits one question she's not ready to look at. If Erin doesn't need her to have a key, where does that leave Diane in her life? Before we climb those stairs with Diane, let me say a quick hi. Hi, I'm Jess. I'm your Boundary Big Sister. I'm also a licensed therapist. On this channel, we like to talk about messy family patterns. And today, that looks like love from one side and feels like a slow squeeze from the other. If that's you right now, go on and subscribe, tap the like button, hype button, so that this one finds the next person either sitting in the car, unable to get out, or the adult child trying to find some space in their own life. Okay, back to Diane and that worn down brass key. If you got a mom like this one in your life, you've already got a word loaded up for her. Controlling. The dropping in unannounced, the opinions you never asked for, the way she can reorganize your kitchen by the time you just use your bathroom. I get it. From where you're standing, it looks like a woman who is trying to run a life that stopped being hers a long time ago. But here's what I have found in the nearly 15 years of sitting with 100 Dianes and a few inside my own family. What looks like control in a mom like this is hardly ever about control. There's something older underneath it. Something so tender she can't really say out loud even if you begged her. And what Diane doesn't know yet is that the key, that's just the easy part. Now, I could just tell you the tender thing sitting underneath all of this, but that won't land as hard until you feel it for yourself. So let me walk you back through the last year of Diane's life. Rewind 12 months, October 8th, 2024. Erin is 31, and by every measure that counts, she's doing fine. She's got a good job, a partner who's kind, a small apartment that has a leaky faucet she always means to fix. But the fine part, that's the part that's quietly breaking Diane's heart, even though she wouldn't be able to tell you that. So Diane turns to helping a lot. It's a Tuesday. She's in the area, so she uses her key, lets herself in, fills a fridge that nobody asked her to fill, tosses a dressing that has expired, folds the dish towels in her own little way, and then she leaves a little sticky note on the coffee maker letting her know you need to descale this. A few weeks later, it's the apartment itself. The neighborhood actually worries Diane, and the stairs are kind of steep. And wouldn't Erin be so much happier in a complex about 15 minutes from Diane's own front door? And oh, Diane just happens to have her brochure right here for Erin, and she's just dropping it off. Then it becomes a new partner who Diane likes well enough, aside from the fact that she thinks the two of them spend way too much time together and how they're planning on switching up the holidays. I mean, for most of Erin's life before this new partner, none of this has ever been a problem. Erin handed over her spare key without a second thought. I mean, her and her mom, they talk every day, and she let her mom into every corner of her world. So what changed? Well, Diane knows what's different in her daughter's life, or who's different, but she doesn't dare say that. But from Erin's point of view, the changes she wants, they're just completely normal. She's just simply building a life that's fully hers, and bit by bit, she's needing her mom less for the day-to-day things. So naturally, Erin pulls back. She asks her mom to text before she comes over. She lets a few daily phone calls stretch to every other day. And then she tells her mother that her and her partner want to host their very first Thanksgiving on their own. But here's the strange part. The thing that's really making this relationship super duper tense. once. Every time Erin just asks for something super reasonable, just like call before you stop by, her mom tightens. And the next week, it's like supercharged mom. Like she's helping so much more. It just always gets worse. So she asks for an inch and then her mom delivers a mile. It's absurd. For example, a small ask to text first before stopping over, Diane shows up the next day, super wounded, she's super hurt, and she's in tears. The first time Erin skipped a call, she had 3 voicemails from her mother by dinner. Even the mention of hosting her own Thanksgiving came all the offers. Well, I'll bring the turkey. Would you like my chairs? Oh, I'll bring you my good tablecloth. And let's not forget the last question. Are you sure? Are you really sure you can manage Thanksgiving on your own? Which is how we get to the brass key. After a year of tug of war, Erin tells her mom as kindly as she can, she's going to need the spare back just so that she can have her own space. She wasn't mean. It was a very reasonable ask. And Diane, of course, says yes. She drives over with every intention of walking up those stairs, handing the key, hugging her daughter, no big deal. But now, of course, we know Diane can't get out of the car. But what Diane doesn't know, and if Erin knew she was actually sitting out in front of her apartment, she wouldn't know this either. What's happening inside of her body has almost nothing to do with the key and almost everything to do with the kitchen over 50 years ago. Now, if you're Erin here, and I have a feeling a lot of you are, you've tried to do all the smart things. You've read the books, you've listened to the podcasts, you've kept it short, you've kept it sweet, you've kept it firm, you've been consistent, so much so that if a stranger heard you communicate your boundary, they would have just nodded along like, oh yeah, crystal clear, I get it. And these little boundary scripts, they are what the internet swears by. No big speeches, keep it short and sweet. Mom, call before you come over, period. And when that didn't work, you have backed all the way off. Fewer calls, more room, just giving her some distance, some space, just hoping and praying that she settles into the new rhythm. Yet every time, somehow, it's only gotten worse. The calmer you get, the harder she pushes. The clearer your line, the bigger her hurt. You ask for more space, she drops in more. She has more tears, and then she says that quiet line that lands like 1,000 pounds on your chest. I guess I just don't matter anymore. Finally, you walk away wondering, what the heck is wrong with me? Like, why can't I get through my own mother? A mother who I would have told you last year we're like best friends. Why is she not understanding me? A full-grown adult. I mean, does she think I can't handle life? Does she not trust that I'm capable? And once you get to that point, resentment starts seeping in, and that is a ship sinker. To every relationship I have seen, once we start accumulating resentment, the relationship is in real danger. So I'm so glad you're here. There is nothing wrong with you. And here's why none of those other things have worked. Every one of those tools that I just listed off is a way to fix a control problem with a parent that feels like they have to control your life. Hold your ground, state your limit, stop engaging. But a mom like Diane, and probably a mom like yours, she's never once had a control problem. What she has is a fear problem, and in order to see it and feel it, we have to leave Erin's apartment and step into a much smaller kitchen about 50 years back. It's 1975, and little Diane is 8 years old. She's up on a wooden stool at the sink, drying a pan that's too big and heavy for her little hands. Behind her sits her mom at the table. She's definitely there physically, but she's not really there. There's just too many kids, too little help, and a heaviness that nobody back then had a name for. In a house like that, a girl like Diane learned something super duper fast. There's one sure way to make the air go warm, to earn a tired smile, and to maybe get a hand running through her hair, and that is to be useful. So Diane becomes the little helper. She dries the pans, she keeps the little ones quiet, she reads her mother's face like the weather, she stays one step ahead of every need in the house, and each time she does, her mom softens, even if it's for a moment. And for a kid that's not getting a lot of connection, that moment is everything. What her small body learned is a rule. I'm safe when I'm needed, and the day that I stop being needed, people disappear. Here's the science sitting under this story, and it's true for every single one of us. We are all born with an internal alarm system, and it's older than thinking. It has one job: to keep us close to the people who keep us alive. When we're tiny, being needed and loved are the very same thing. Since a baby nobody needs is a baby nobody watches, and a baby nobody watches is a baby in danger. So in a home where love showed up most when she was being useful, Diane's nervous system wired being needed straight to staying alive. And the wiring, it never checks the date. The alarm Diane set at 8 is still running 50 years later. It's untouched, which means a grown woman can be parked in a car, she can be perfectly safe, and still feel the floor fall away when someone she loves kind of seems like they don't need her anymore. So again, look at what Erin's been doing all year. She's been growing up, all the way up. She is a woman. She's someone who doesn't need her mom to get the groceries for all the holidays, and she doesn't need her mom anymore for the daily phone calls. That's a win. That's what we all want for our children. We want to launch them successfully so they're fully functioning humans in the world. But to a nervous system built like Diane's, that healthy, ordinary thing, it trips off the oldest alarm she owns. Like, her body can't tell the difference between my daughter is happy and my daughter is leaving me. Since in the kitchen she grew up in, these two things were never allowed to be separate things. And now to the key. Giving it back was never about the apartment. As long as Diane still has a key, she's still going to be the one who's called for emergencies, who has a place in her daughter's life. To a body that learned what hers learned at 8, handing back that key is like being told, you're not needed anymore. And to her, not being needed always meant she was about to be left. So that grip that you have felt for your whole life, the one that always feels like control, might be an 8-year-old at a sink drying old pans, still sure that the moment she stops being useful, she's going to be left in this kitchen alone forever. Now, that doesn't make it yours to live inside. You can hold all the tenderness in the world for why your mom grabs on, and you can still know that you can't build your one life inside of her fear. Both of those things are true at the exact same time. So here's the shift, and it's going to feel backwards at first. I want you to stop focusing on the demand, and I want you to start speaking to the fear sitting underneath. The demand is, give me the key, we're hosting Thanksgiving, call before you come over. But for Diane, that sparks a very frightening question. Do I still have a place in your life, or am I about to lose you? If you only focus on the demand, your need, your boundary, mom, my gosh, I just need space, the fear keeps screaming. And the following week, that brings a tighter grip, and the two of you are just back on the same hamster wheel, just trying to figure this out. Speak to the fear first, then hold your line, and her alarm will settle just enough where she can actually hear you instead of bracing against you. So I teach this using the clear formula. Watch how gentle it is to a scared parent. You connect first, going straight to the fear. Mom, you're not losing me. You are my mom, and that will never ever change. Then you state the limit, short and sweet. And I'm going to hang on to the keys to my place. Then you explain how this will benefit her. I just want you to come over as my guest. I want you to put up your feet, and I want you to not feel like you have to keep things running for me. Then you're going to assure her. So when she pushes back, she says her line that makes you feel guilty, whatever she says, you say, I love you. And none of this changes that. I will see you on Sunday. And then you just repeat your boundary kindly every single time the fear shows up wearing a different outfit. So look at what we just did there. The line never moved. You kept your key, your Thanksgiving plan. All you did was you stopped arguing with a scared kid's alarm and started telling it gently that it's safe. You get to hold a hard line and a frightened person in the very same hand, and you never have to choose between them. Now, I just walked you through the clear formula with a small brass key, but your mom, she's not going to hand you one tidy moment and that's going to be theirs. It's all going to stop after you just give her this one script. I'm not that magical. I wish I was, but it doesn't stop there. It's the key, then it's the holidays, then it's going to be the comment about your parenting in front of your kids. It's just going to keep coming, one after another, moment to moment, with your own old alarm firing. Sometimes when that happens, speaking to our parents' fear, that can kind of get fuzzy to pull from memory. That's exactly why I put all of this, like the clear formula, in a guide. So it runs about 70 pages and it does one job. It turns the move you just watched into something you can actually do when your hands are shaking. And every step is broken down all the way. How to find her fear, how to say the connect line just right so it sounds real, authentic, and not fake, and what to do when the first try doesn't take. So you learned and felt the why today. This hands you the exact what to say, what to do when there's pushback, and how to change your own behavior to hold the line. Link is in the description below. Okay. One last thing before we go. If you're the adult kid in this story, the one who's been made to feel selfish for wanting a life of your own, listen up. Her grip was never meant to make you feel like she doesn't trust you or that she doesn't feel like you're fully capable of running your own life. It usually means that somewhere in a kitchen you never got to see, she learned that being needed was the only way she would ever get to stay. But don't get that twisted. That is not your wound to fix, but you can speak to it. You can look at that scared small thing right in the eye and you can tell it the truth, that she still has a space here, and then you still hold your line. There's absolutely nothing cold about that. It honestly might be the warmest thing one frightened person ever does for another. You get to be free and she gets to feel loved. And the saddest lie of it all is that those two were ever thought to be enemies. They never were. I do owe you one hard truth before I let you go. Sometimes you'll do everything right, exactly like I'm teaching you. You will follow the clear formula. You'll go step by step. You're going to hold her warmly. You're going to be very, very tender. And it's not going to go well. You'll talk to the fear, but the panic won't soften. It's going to sharpen. Like you'll get a cold shoulder, the silent treatment, or one heavy line that says, fine, I guess I'll spend the holidays alone. That is the same fear. It's just now grown some teeth. And there is a very specific way that I want to teach you how to stay standing when love starts getting handed back to you like a leash. And that's where we're going to head next. I will see you there.